My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of The Walking Dead Season 2. And this review will have spoilers, so there's your warning. But I really liked Season 1, and I like Season 2. Um, I found this season to be frustrating because there was some greatness on display, but I think it's really dragged down by the pacing. So let's begin by talking about the cast. And Andrew Lincoln is truly terrific here. Like, he carries this show so incredibly well, he brings lots of depth to his character, and he brings weight when needed. Nobody ever talks about him, but I feel like he's the best actor here. Then we've got John Bernthal, and I like how Shane is the wild card. You never know if he's capable of growth or if he's just going to dig himself into a deeper and deeper hole. And I like how we see the darker side of Shane here. And John just brings this character to life perfectly. Sarah Wayne Callies as Lori does a pretty good job. Um, there's a few things though in the last couple episodes where I'm really starting to dislike her character. So I'm curious to see where they take her. Lori Holden has more to work with and she's really good. She kind of becomes a bit of a badass and she brings real weight to her character. Jeffrey DeMunn, I'll talk more about the handling of Dale later on, but his performance is good. He feels so genuine as this character, and Stephen Yeun has way more to work with, and I thought he really stood out here. He's just a likable presence, and I like how he gained some independence this season. Chandler Riggs. His performance is fine. I do not like the writing of Carl at all. It just feels really forced, really contrived, and I don't think the path this character is taking has any weight to it. So he's fine, not a fan of the writing behind him. Then we've got Norman Reedus, and I know people love Dale, and I guess he's fine, but like that's it. He's a fine character, fine performance, nothing special. Then we've got Melissa McBride as Carol, and I thought she does a perfectly fine job. We've got Iron E. Singleton, who doesn't really have much to do, but he's still perfectly fine. Scott Wilson is a welcome addition to this season. I just like how good, how genuine he is, but he'll still stand up for himself and his family when the moment calls for it. Then we've got Lauren Cohen, who is a little hot and cold. Like sometimes she's cool and likable, but sometimes she's kind of bitchy. So I'm a bit mixed on this character so far, but I do like the relationship she has with Glenn. Emily Kenny does a perfectly fine job, and as someone who was a fan of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, it was so nice to see Michael Zegan in this show. He doesn't really have much to do, but he still does a perfectly fine job. So the performances themselves were really good. Some even great. It's the handling of certain characters that I'm kind of concerned about. For example, I like Shane because of the tension he brought to this show, and I understand why they wrote him off, but I'm kind of concerned for the show moving forward without him. Like, if you kept him alive, it could have felt really repetitive, really stagnant. But, I don't know, like, how many of the characters left are really that interesting? It's something I won't fully have an opinion on till I continue watching this show. And Dale is the good character. He is the one who brings humanity to the group. And I understand with him dying, it kind of represents the death of their humanity. What's this group going to turn into? I get it. But if you have everyone kind of losing their humanity, if everybody is on the same page and there's no pushback, there's not enough conflict, and you need conflict like that to drive a show. So I'm kind of okay that he died, but those two deaths have got me majorly concerned for the future of this show. And also, I wish their death scenes were done better. I wish they had more emotional weight to them. And Randall, Michael Zegan's character, I kinda understand why they use him the way that they did, but at the same time, he completely overstayed his welcome. Like, at an eventual point, I'm like, are we still talking about Randall? You've got to be fucking kidding me. But I think the biggest issue of this season is the pacing. The first few episodes are boring as shit. Like, not much happens and they just really drag on. And there's this one episode, well, Rick and Shane are together, they get into a big fight, and carnage happens. Things escalate with the zombies. And it kind of seemed like, okay, that might be the end of the storyline. But then it turns out it's not. And I don't know, pacing-wise, if that worked for me. I'll talk about that more later on in just a few minutes. But the pacing, like if this season was 8 episodes instead of 12, I think it would have been much tighter and much better. Like, I know everybody is nostalgic for the way television used to be, but I think television used to be so unnecessarily dragged out. So, yeah. Full section. The middle section of this season, however, is actually fantastic. In fact, there's an episode. What's it called? Oh, you know what? I'll quickly Secrets. Pretty much dead already. Nebraska, Triggerfinger, and 18 Miles Out. Those are some really great episodes. There's great tension, there's great moral complexity, and there's real heartbreak. That scene where Sophie comes out of the barn and everybody is devastated has so much weight to it, and I kind of like how you view Maul as what's his name? Herschel. Why? Okay. You kind of view Herschel as crazy for keeping them, but in that moment, you understand. And I love how Rick steps up to the task in that moment and does what needed to be done. So there's definitely great moments and great episodes of this season. But then after Dale dies and then Shane dies, I don't know. I was kind of bummed out by the last episode. But that said, it kind of makes sense with the final scene. Rick tells Lori what happened to Shane, and she is just completely repulsed by what she heard. And Rick's just like, you know what? I'm not a bad guy. So he lays down the law. he makes things clear that he's a dictator now, and he's going to keep this group alive. And it's kind of a dark ending for this season, but it does make sense. And that's where I kind of view the entire season in a different light. Well, he is the guy who is trying to build peace. He is the guy who didn't want to kill his best friend. He is the one who dragged everything out because he's just a good guy. And now that he was pushed to his limits and he acted accordingly, he's now being viewed as a monster. So he's just like, you know what? I don't give a shit if that's how I'm viewed. I'll do anything it takes to keep this group alive, and I'm the guy in charge. And this show is written by Robert Kirkman, who also, it's based on a comic series written by Robert Kirkman, who also wrote the Invincible series. And I love the Invincible TV show. And it kind of reminds me of that, how Mark Grayson tries so hard to be good, and he just gets pushed to his limits. And season 3 ends on a note where he teases a darker side of himself. And it definitely reminded me of that in a good way. So, I do think that final 10 minutes saved the season. It really did. Oh, and also the practical effects look terrific. There's one zombie in a well that looked so gross and slimy, and some of the blood here is truly fantastic. But I left season 1 very hopeful. I'm leaving season 2 liking the season. It's good. It's solid. But I am concerned. Without Dale, without Shane, how long can this show go on for without being stagnant? And I hope they figure it out, but I've definitely got doubts. And if the show continues to be great, I'll look back on this season and being like, you know what? This season was great. I loved it. But I can't say that now. I'm truly concerned. So I'm going to give The Walking Dead Season 2 a 7 out of 10. It really does frustrate me because those middle episodes are so great and I want to love this show. But man, without Dale, without that humanity, and without Shane, and without that tension, I'm really hoping I'm wrong. But The Walking Dead Season 2, have you seen it? What did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon. And Gavin, out.